Imagine hearing desperate barks day after day from the house next door. What would you do if you suspected a dog was being neglected? This isn't just a hypothetical question. It's the start of a true and touching story about courage and community. In this video, we'll follow the journey of a concerned neighbor who suspects a dog is being neglected. We'll see how her suspicions lead her to take bold actions that not only change the life of the dog, but also transform the community. Stay with us as we uncover the signs of neglect, the confrontation that brings the truth to light, and the heartwarming resolution that follows. Get ready to be inspired by what one person can do when they listen to their heart and take a stand. Welcome back to PlotTwister. Before we unravel today's mystery, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you're always in the loop. We deliver the most astonishing, eerie, and mesmerizing videos every day. Let's get started with today's twist. Meet Sarah, a longtime resident of a quiet suburban neighborhood. Known for her community spirit and love for animals, Sarah is no stranger to lending a helping hand. Her days are usually filled with small community projects and caring for her own pets, which makes her particularly sensitive to the needs of animals around her. Lately, Sarah has been troubled by the unsettling changes she's noticed in the backyard next door. The barking of a dog, once sporadic and lively, had turned into a continuous, desperate plea. Day by day, she observes from her kitchen window the dog appearing thinner, its water bowl often empty, and its small shelter deteriorating. With each passing day, her concern grows as the signs of neglect seem to escalate. Torn between minding her own business and intervening, Sarah wrestles with her conscience. She knows approaching her neighbor could lead to a confrontational situation, a risk in the often unspoken etiquette of suburban living. However, the haunting sound of the dog's distressed barking, especially late at night, strengthens her resolve. Sarah realizes that if she doesn't act, perhaps no one will, and the thought of the dog suffering in silence is too much to bear. This decision marks the first step in what would become a larger investigation, driven by the need to ensure the safety and well-being of a helpless animal. Sarah, driven by growing concern, decides to document what she sees. Armed with her smartphone, she discreetly takes photos and videos of the dog's conditions from her side of the fence. She captures images of the empty water bowl, the deteriorating shelter, and the dog's thinning frame. Each piece of evidence weighs heavily on her, a silent testament to the neglect she suspects. Late evenings, when the neighborhood quiets down, Sarah notes the times when the barking is most desperate and prolonged, hoping this documentation might help if authorities need to be involved. Seeking further corroboration, Sarah reaches out to other neighbors without revealing too much of her suspicions initially. She casually asks if they've noticed anything unusual about the dog next door. A few admit in low tones that they've heard the incessant barking. Others mention seeing the dog appear less lively than before. Sarah listens, gathering their observations, slowly building a community's perspective on the situation. This shared concern hints at a broader awareness and the potential support for any actions she might take. Yet, despite this backing, the real challenge remains: how to approach the dog's owner, a man known for his reclusive and sometimes brusque demeanor. With her collected evidence and bolstered by community support, Sarah decides it's time to confront the owner, Mr. Jennings. She rehearses her words carefully, aiming for a conversation that is concerned yet non-confrontational. One crisp morning, she walks over, finding Mr. Jennings in his front yard. Sarah starts by asking general questions about his well-being and subtly shifts the conversation towards the dog's health. Mr. Jennings' responses are curt and evasive, his demeanor closing off as the subject of the dog arises. He insists everything is under control and quickly dismisses Sarah's concerns, suggesting she focus on her own affairs. Frustrated but undeterred by Mr. Jennings' dismissive attitude, Sarah feels more compelled than ever to take further action. She debates the risks of legally overstepping boundaries against the moral urgency of the situation. After another sleepless night, hearing the dog's distressed barks, she decides early one morning to go beyond just observation. With her heart pounding and a deep sense of duty guiding her, Sarah waits until Mr. Jennings leaves for work. She then makes the decisive move to enter his backyard, telling herself this is the only way to truly assess the situation and ensure the dog's well-being. This critical moment escalates the tension, as Sarah knows the risks involved, but feels the potential outcome justifies her bold decision. As Sarah steps cautiously into Mr. Jennings' backyard, her initial feelings of intrusion are quickly overwhelmed by concern for the dog. She finds the animal in a small, neglected corner of the yard, its shelter barely standing in the area littered with debris. The dog, a medium-sized lab mix, looks up with wary, tired eyes. It's thinner than she initially thought, its fur matted and dull. The water bowl she had seen from a distance is indeed empty, and there's no sign of food. The overall condition of the environment is worse than she imagined, confirming her worst fears about the dog's plight. Shaken by the discovery and realizing the situation is beyond what she can handle alone, Sarah pulls out her phone with trembling hands. Standing there, amidst the squalor, she dials 911. She explains to the dispatcher that she is reporting a severe case of animal neglect, her voice steady but urgent. As she awaits for the authorities to arrive, she stays by the dog, offering comforting words and soft pats. Sarah's actions are driven by a mix of adrenaline and a profound sense of responsibility. She knows that this call could be the turning point in ensuring the dog's safety and well-being. The sound of sirens grows closer, breaking the quiet of the early morning as both police and animal control officers arrive at the scene. Sarah watches, heart pounding, as they assess the situation. The officers speak briefly with her, taking notes as she explains her observations and shows them the evidence she gathered. They then approach the dog, their expressions turning grim as they inspect its living conditions. The tension peaks as they begin to take action, removing the dog from the yard and discussing potential charges with the police. Sarah feels a mix of relief and anxiety, hoping she has done enough to help. As the dog's led away, a clearer picture of its condition emerges. It's significantly malnourished and dehydrated, but responds gently to the kindness of the rescuers. Animal control assures Sarah that the dog will receive immediate medical attention and, once healthy, will be placed for adoption. Over the following weeks, Sarah keeps in touch with the shelter and learns that the dog, now named Buddy, is recovering well and showing his gentle, loving nature. The community rallies to support Buddy's recovery, with many neighbors expressing gratitude towards Sarah for her courage. Mr. Jennings faces several charges related to animal neglect and cruelty. The evidence Sarah collected proves crucial in building a strong case against him. As the legal process unfolds, there's a strong sense of justice within the community, with many feeling a renewed commitment to monitoring and intervening in similar situations. Sarah's actions spark discussions about the responsibility of pet ownership and the importance of community vigilance in preventing animal abuse. In this story, we've witnessed how a single act of courage and concern can ignite a significant change and bring a community together. Sarah, a regular neighbor with a deep love for animals, didn't just watch from the sidelines. She stepped up when it mattered most. Her bravery brought rescue to a helpless dog and accountability to an irresponsible owner. This story highlights the powerful impact we can have when we choose to not ignore the signs of distress and suffering around us. I want to encourage each of you watching this video. Don't turn away when you see something wrong. Whether it's an animal in need or another form of injustice, your voice can make a difference. Let's be vigilant, let's be vocal, and let's support each other. If you suspect animal neglect or abuse, please contact local authorities or animal welfare organizations. It's better to call and be wrong than to stay silent and allow suffering to continue. What are your thoughts on the twist we uncovered today? Comment your ideas below. Make sure to like and subscribe for a daily dose of drama and mystery. See you later with another twist.